And then they also related to the settlement. For example, they have what they call as silimo or honai. Okay, and honai can describe the culture of Papua, and very specifically because Hi, this video is for Indonesian culture and society subject, and in this recording I'm gonna be talking about Papua. So I will give only a bit of background about Papua culture, because later you will do your own research on this culture specifically. I think we're gonna start with the way of life of many of Papua people. Well, even though right now there are many of Papua people, of course, they live in settlement, they live in permanent buildings, but there is still many of them who live nomadic life, in which they prefer to live along the rivers, along shores, and then they live with their family there. And there are also a group of people who try to live in highland area, and they cultivate lands there with their family. So the culture of Papua is influence of this way of life too, where they live and how they live, and what they cultivate, what they plant, what they grow there with their family and with their tribes or small tribes, and what they eat, of course. So this influence the culture. Like for the food, for example, there are a lot of unique foods that we can find there. Or if you go to Papua, for example, let's say they have this in some, like in Sulawesi, for example, they have papeda, but in Papua specifically, they made this of sagu, okay? And they have special martabak there. They eat fish a lot. Sometimes it's raw, so the way they prepare the meals is also unique. And related to the sago tree, in Papua it's also well known. They eat the sago caterpillar, which is called as ulat sagu. So after this sago tree is cut down, for example, and then for months it will start to decay, and then in the sago there will be caterpillars there, and these are so delicious for them, or for many people, of course, because it's full of protein. So they gather this, and it's a common food to find there. Okay. They also hunt non-herd animals for food, and so they like hunting. They eat the animals that they found, like boars, for example, or wild pig. They consume this for their foods. That's the general information about food and way of life in Papua. And then they also related to the settlement. For example, they have what they call as silimo or honai. Okay, and honai can describe the culture of Papua, and very specifically because in the area where honai usually is placed in one specific area, and there are many parts of it, like when in the entrance here, right after the entrance of the honai area, you will find the kitchen, and next to the kitchen will be the honai for women. Okay, and after that will be the cooking pit where women prepare foods for the whole club, okay, for the whole family. And right after that will be the honai for men. So the honai, or the place for women and for men, are different, and in between these two honais will be the cooking pit. As we can see here, so there is separation between the place of the women and the place of the men, and it's the cooking place where women prepare foods for the whole family. Okay. And after that, there will be the traditional house, okay, next to the honai for men, and then after that will be the place for the livestock. Okay, so this family and the things that they need, like for the food, the kitchen and the cooking pit, and also the livestock, are in one area together. And then I think if you have ever heard about this, of course, in many cultures, people have different ways in expressing grief. Okay, when they're sad, when they mourn, when they lost their family members, for example, people have different ways to express this sadness, this grief. In Papua, it's quite specific, in which they have the culture to cut their fingers. Okay, so the cutting, of course, is done with ceremony, and by elders in one village, for example, and attended by people from the village. But they will cut one knuckle for each time one loses family members, the person that they live. So one knuckle at a time. But can you imagine when some other family members also it's gone, and then there will be another finger, another knuckles. So it is not surprising to see people with no fingers there, or only some more fingers, or some fingers are much shorter than the others because they've been cut the right hand or the left hand. So right now it's forbidden, of course, by the government of Indonesia. They don't do this at the moment, right now. But in the past, this is a really strong culture for the Papuan people. Yeah. So what we can see here is that grief, sadness, the feeling of loss of family members, for them is not enough just by crying. Okay. So tears do not heal the feeling of loss. It's what we can see here, and we can also see from those fingers cut away from them, which means that those fingers will never grow back, which means that actually what has been taken from the family will never be back anymore. So we can see these symbols in these cutting fingers, and we can see how deep the Papuan people can feel when one of their family members is gone, and the sacrifice toward this. And then there are many other aspects actually that we can see, but I have already highlighted the main ideas. So later you need to do more research on like traditional houses, traditional dress, including traditional dance, for example, customs and traditions, local wisdom, and some other values that they have, including the beliefs. So in this case, later while you are doing your research related to these aspects, like for traditional dress, for example, you need to see the symbols behind this traditional dress. When it's in its dance, for example, what are the meanings of those movements? What is it for? What is the dance for? Is it to welcome guests or important people, or to for gods and so on? So we need to see this, and also we need to be able to see the customs of communication, non-verbal communications, like how to express feeling of love other than using words, and the wisdoms, the values, the beliefs. Okay. These are the things that I want you later to be able to see. And while doing research on these aspects, you need to relate to your own tribal cultures too. Okay, so in this case, we have to know our own cultures, whatever your tribe is, the Javanese or Batak or Sundanese, for example. Okay, so we know ours, and then while we are searching for the tribes and the cultures of other people, and then we need to relate, and then we need to compare the values, okay, in order to be able to improve our lives better, and also to improve our understanding on the culture and the way of life of other people, especially Papua in this case. You might be able later to find the specific beliefs that are not in the kinds of religions acknowledged in Indonesia, but at least this is the understanding that we need to have, and we need to apply to tolerate their kinds of beliefs. I think that's the end of the video. Thank you. See you.
Terima kasih sudah menyaksikan video pembelajaran ini. Jangan lupa like, komen, dan subscribe, serta nyalakan tanda loncengnya agar kalian tidak ketinggalan informasi update lainnya.
Hai adik-adik semua, kali ini kakak mau jelasin gimana caranya untuk mendaftar online di Universitas Teknokrat Indonesia. Baik, kita buka dulu websitenya di spmb.teknokrat.ac.id. Nah, kalian bisa lihat di sini untuk alur pendaftaran mahasiswa baru dan tes masuk online. Yang pertama, adik-adik harus membuat akun pendaftaran terlebih dahulu dengan memasukkan email dan password adik-adik ya. Setelah itu, adik-adik bisa login dengan memasukkan alamat email dan password yang sudah didaftarkan sebelumnya. Kemudian, adik-adik harus mengisikan data pribadi, data sekolah, dan pilihan program studi. Setelah semua data terisi, lalu klik daftar. Selanjutnya, adik-adik bisa mengunduh cetak kartu pendaftaran. Setelah mencetak kartu pendaftaran, adik-adik bisa melakukan pembayaran melalui bank atau ATM ke nomor rekening yang tertera pada kartu pendaftaran. Setelah adik-adik melakukan pembayaran, lalu foto dan upload bukti pembayaran ke sistem pada menu upload bukti pembayaran. Tunggu validasi dari Universitas Teknokrat Indonesia kurang lebih 1 kali 24 jam. Setelah tervalidasi, adik-adik bisa mencetak nomor ujian di menu cetak kartu ujian. Jika adik-adik semua sudah mempunyai nomor ujian, adik-adik bisa langsung melakukan tes online pada menu online test di bagian menu utama. Pilih fakultas sesuai dengan program studi yang adik-adik pilih ya. Catatan untuk adik-adik semua. Untuk adik-adik yang mengambil jurusan di Fakultas Teknik dan Ilmu Komputer, adik-adik harus mengerjakan soal ujian 2 kali. Untuk Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis, mengerjakan ujian 1 kali. Dan di Fakultas Sastra dan Ilmu Pendidikan, program studi Sastra Inggris dan Pendidikan Bahasa Inggris mengerjakan ujian 2 kali, program studi Pendidikan Matematika mengerjakan ujian 1 kali, dan khusus untuk program studi Pendidikan Olahraga, adik-adik mengerjakan 1 kali ujian kompetensi dasar dan 1 kali ujian tes fisik. Setelah memilih fakultas sesuai dengan program studi adik-adik, lalu pilih akses, pilih continue, isikan username dan password menggunakan nomor ujian. Lalu klik login, lalu klik ujian 1, klik ujian 1 tes kemampuan dasar. Untuk mulai mengerjakan soal, klik start attempt. Pastikan adik-adik mengerjakan soal sampai dengan selesai ya. Jangan lupa klik finish attempt dan scroll ke bawah. Klik submit all and finish. Untuk melihat hasil pengumuman tes, adik-adik bisa lihat di link spmb.teknokrat.ac.id. Dengan login kembali, lalu pilih menu pengumuman. Di sini akan tertera hasil tes adik-adik lulus atau tidak. Dan adik-adik bisa mencetak slip pembayaran untuk melakukan pembayaran daftar ulang dengan nomor rekening masing-masing program studi. Nah, itu dia cara daftarnya lewat website di Universitas Teknokrat Indonesia. Semoga tutorial ini bermanfaat dan sampai jumpa di Universitas Teknokrat Indonesia, kampusnya sang juara.